Hello, everybody. Welcome to All Villa, No Filler, a podcast all about Aston Villa, the world's greatest football team. You guessed it. I am fresh from Crystal Palace versus Aston Villa last night. I have actually managed to pick up some kind of bug, so forgive me if I sound a little bit phlegmy and whatever else. But yeah, we'll ride through it. So yes, I'll talk about the Palace game in a little bit. Firstly, though, there has been some breaking news in the world of Aston Villa, and that is that we have agreed a deal to sign 16-year-old Brian Madjo from Metz. It's got the here we go from Fabrizio Romano himself. He says a 12 million euro deal, therefore probably you'd put that at about 10 million pounds, but 12 million euro deal agreed for the 2009 born gem. That's quite scary, isn't it? 2009. With a surprise move orchestrated by Villa behind the scenes. Contract valid for 5 years. Medical booked. So, yes, Villa have agreed a deal to sign 16-year-old Brian Madjo. Not bad, is it? Now, a little bit more background on him. He's appeared 3 times for the Luxembourg international team, although he was born in Enfield. Therefore, he qualifies to play for England and has since, appearing for Luxembourg, he has since played for his birth country in their under-17, scoring 4 times in 9 games. 6'4" at the age of 16. Pretty incredible, that. He's been compared to Romelu Lukaku, and he has played 5 times for the Metz first team as well. So at the age of 16, he's already made it into the French Ligue 1. And I think if anybody watches Ligue 1, the thing that sticks out to me whenever I watch it, when I watch the Bundesliga, I think it moves at a 1,000-mile-an-hour pace. I just can't really get my head around how Jurgen Kloppish and fast-moving it all is. La Liga, it's a bit more deliberate. It's a bit Unai Emery's Aston Villa. You look at France, it's very, very physical, very, very strong. And to be 16 years of age, start playing 5 games, and I think starting 2 of them, really impressive stuff, and suggests that he's a physical, specimen, and that, maybe isn't that far away from being someone who might be considered for the Aston Villa first team as well. We shall see. I mean, obviously, it's a bit of a gamble, it is, but I think 12 million euros for a 16-year-old. I tried to look it up, like what is the record 16-year-old signing? Because 12 million euros, I mean, that's got to be pretty high up there, I would have thought. It's got to be one of the most expensive signings of a 16-year-old of all time. So clearly there is a lot that Roberto Alabe has seen, and the scouting department that they have seen in the underlying numbers, they've seen in the videos I've watched of him, that they think this is a guy who can come in and make a significant difference. Now, yes, I mean, like everybody else, I've watched videos of him since the announcement was made. And look, I mean, you're just going off highlight clips, but I'm sure everybody else here could see as well. There's Lukaku comparisons. You sort of get it because he's a big striker, and Lukaku was 16 years old when he came through at Anderlecht. When he came through, and was already himself physically very imposing, and because of that, his physical build, Premier League clubs immediately took an interest in him, because you need a physical, you need to be physically pretty strong if you're a young player in particular to be breaking through into the Premier League, and or at least you don't need it, but it definitely helps. Junior Krupi, who's at Bournemouth right now, he proves that you don't need to be the physical. Huge guy to make it, but it helps, doesn't it? And so yeah, I mean, Alabi, I mean, as Sam Tai said about the Alisson signing when we interviewed him on this podcast a week or 2 ago, it's a very Alabi signing. It's a very Real Sociedad signing. Sign young players like Martin Odegaard, Alexander Isak, people who maybe have flown a little bit under the radar, or have been somewhere and then maybe not shone as much as they could have done, need to just take a step down and move on again. And I sort of think Madjo is probably a good reflection of that. As I said, I mean, Fabrizio Romano has said here, it's a 12 million euros, so it's 5 years. So over the, I've seen some people say it wouldn't count towards PSR if it's an academy signing. I need to get that cleared up because I don't fully know if that's true or not. But if it does count towards PSR, well, it's what's £10 million over 5 years. It's just nothing really, is it? It's £2 million a year, so it's not really too much. But it does, it reflects again on the approach Villa have taken in recent years. Under Monchi, we signed Costa Nedeljkovic, we signed Yasin Özkan. Alisson more recently under Roberto Alabe. We signed Madu Keba Cisse, who's starting as a centre-back at Lask right now, who is second in the Austrian Bundesliga. So it's good. That's a good sign. We're quite excited to see what happens when he comes and joins us this summer. But if you're to look at who's the most, successful of all those, young players who could go on and do something, well, it's John Duran, isn't it? Signed him for 15 million quid, 17 years of age from MLS. Came in, his stats weren't exactly that amazing, but within 2 games, you saw him do crazy things against Man City away, and you thought, oh my God, there is something here. And then very quickly, he kicked on and started doing special things, didn't he? And we ended up selling him for 65 million quid. So that's the aim of these sorts of signings, isn't it? I mean, there's 2 ways to look at it. There's one, if you're a team in Villa's position, you are not in the position of the Man Uniteds, Arsenals, and Liverpools who are in that, who have been in Champions, well, have the financial revenues that enable them to go on and just sign whoever the hell they want, make loads and loads of mistakes, and then if they make one mistake, it doesn't matter because they can just go and make another mistake. Aston Villa currently aren't in that position, so we do have to box quite smart. And signing young players with potential high upside is one of those ways you could look at it. Because look, rather than PSR, SCR is now the thing. Squad cost ratio is now the thing that matters a bit more, and that's the way the rules are going in the Premier League to reflect more with what UEFA have. And to be honest, we hear a lot of chants about the Premier League. Well, in reality, it's UEFA's restrictions that are actually the most burdensome for Villa. 70% of your revenues for squad cost that's really difficult to meet if you really want to kick on. But anyway, so signing young is one way around it because the wages aren't going to be that high. But then there is also a risk in it. Costa Nedeljkovic, we signed him for about 7.5 million, I think it was, pounds. Yasin Özkan, I think it was 7-8 million quid. Alisson, he's about 10 million pounds. Cisse, I think he was quite low, down at 3. John Duran, 15 million. And then now Brian Madjo at 10 million pounds. Yes, it's not loads and loads of money, but it does add up. And if these signings don't work, or any of them, it does start to rack up and actually cause a few issues. But I think you'd like to think that the scouting department is so good. Roberto Alabe has proven himself before that these players, you're probably not going to make a loss on many of them. Look at Costa Nedeljkovic, 7 million quid. Every time I've ever watched him, I've rated him really, really highly. Yes, when he came into the Villa first team at the start of last season, I think he looked a little bit naive at times. But there was certainly a player that you thought could learn and grow. Perhaps there was a language barrier, a Serbian 17, 18-year-old coming into the Premier League, having to learn English. It's difficult. It's just difficult in a whole new environment. He's gone out to the Bundesliga. He's at RB Leipzig. He's been injured for a significant proportion of this season, but Nedeljkovic has been starting at right back for RB Leipzig. He's been starting. So Aston Villa currently have a 19-year-old out on loan at RB Leipzig, second in the Bundesliga, who starts. So he has the potential now to come back and be a better player and maybe can show in the summer what he's about. But if he continues to start through this summer, well, RB Leipzig's probably going to want him. And if Leipzig end up not making a bid that is close to what Aston Villa want, well, then there's other clubs who are out there who are definitely going to make a bid that will probably make a profit on what we bought Nedeljkovic for. So that's kind of the aim of these signings, is that even if they only go for a profit of 6 million, 5 million, 3 million, that all starts to add up. And you kind of hope that one of them, i.e. John Duran being an example of it, one of them ends up becoming a real star, and then the you know, the Bayern Munichs or whoever come in and bid 60, 70 million for him, and then that's humongous amount of profit goes straight back into the academy, and you keep building from there. Um, it's a model Villa have to follow right now. Yes, I think in this transfer window, we would all like to see Villa, if there's any possibility they can do it, bring in players who might be here ready for now to make a major, contribution in Villa going on to potentially win the Europa League and ensure that we get top 5 for sure in the Premier League. That is something I think we all want to see. But signings like this, I like it. I think it is smart. As I say, it can add up if none of them work. Well, that's the risk you take, I guess. But yeah, I mean, I mentioned it earlier. The videos we've all watched of him, the comparisons to Romelu Lukaku. Well, yeah, I mean, but he's a back to goal striker. Is very clearly what he is. Towers over everyone he plays in the youth system. The clips I've seen him in playing first team football, he looks like he belongs there because he just looks like a man already. I think what Villa have lacked, and it's something I've talked about a lot on this podcast, if you're a regular viewer or listener, is that we've needed a striker who is more of a back to goal player than we currently have. Watkins can do it. Watkins is a great striker, but it'd be great if we just had someone who had a slightly different dynamic, which is maybe what John Duran had. I mean, John Duran was good with his back to goal. He was just a bleeding maniac. Madjo seems to match that profile. He looks good holding it up. He's good at rolling players. One or two clips show his link-up play is good. He's got skill as well when he goes at the player. And obviously, he scored a fair amount as well. 4 in 19 for the England under-17s. He scored a fair amount in the youth system at Metz. Of course, youth football is very, very different to first team football, and what the amount you score at youth football, it doesn't really matter. The acid test is when you get into the adult teams. But I think it's fair to say that when he starts plays 5 times at least for the Mets first team in such a physical league as the League A, and when Roberto Alabe and Aston Villa scouting department feels pretty confident this guy is a serious, serious prospect, that they're going to go and spend 12 million euros on him, I think you have to give the benefit of that and say, this is pretty exciting. And certainly one for the future. And, you have to think there's been a significant amount of competition to get him, because player of that profile there will be, because there aren't that many strikers, going around Europe right now who are top level back to goal strikers like he is. So, or he could potentially be rather. So, yeah, it's an exciting one for sure. We'll see how it works out. We'll see. I can see some comments are coming in. I will get to those in a second. Sorry, I couldn't do them the other day just because, somebody was at my door just at the completely wrong time. So, yes. Anything else I can think to say about it all? Yeah, I'd say just be patient with it. Just see how he develops. And if it does suggest that Villa are looking for a striker, and obviously we have to, because Ollie Watkins now he's 30. So there's only so long that he's going to be at the peak level, really. Although, players like Lewandowski, 37, 38 is still going strong. And Watkins is a very fit guy. But look, we do have to prepare for the future. And we've got Rory Wilson in the youth setup. A player, I almost think it's a conspiracy theory. I mean, does he even exist? I mean, you've never seen him in preseason. You've never seen him in the youth team that won the cups last year. But he does score a lot, and it looks like he's going to go on loan potentially to Europe, or drop down a league or two for to go and get some game time. And it's what he needs now. He's 20 years of age, so he does need to get a kick on, really. But yes, Rory Wilson there, Madjo's 2 top prospects, and then we've also been linked to another player. This guy, Zavier Gozo. That's a link that's been brought by the journalist Madjo More. Zavier Gozo, he's 18. He plays for Real Salt Lake. I never know whether to call them Real Salt Lake or Real Salt Lake. Whatever. They've 18 years of age. He's played 27 times for the Salt Lake first team. Scored 4 goals and has 3 assists. That's a very decent total. Now, if we're to get I saw this online, so I might as well just repeat it, really. This comes from Target Scouting on Twitter. They've described his background as an 18-year-old winger who came through the Real Salt Lake Academy. He signed his first professional contract with the club's reserve side, Real Monarchs, in MLS Next Pro in 2022. Gozo made his MLS debut with Salt Lake in 2023 and has since made 34 appearances, contributing 4 goals and 4 assists. Overall ability, Gozo is a direct, explosive winger who excels at exploiting space behind defenses. He uses his pace to get in behind, looking to deliver balls into the box or create a shooting opportunity. Defensively, he works very hard, pressing aggressively and helping cut off passing lanes throughout the matches. He can still improve his strength in duels, first touch and speed of decision-making. The latter criticisms, that's constructive criticism. Obviously, that is something that a player of his age will always be something that he can improve. So, again, I've watched clips. I mean, firstly, those numbers are good. I've watched clips of him. He's a classic kind of speedy Gonzalez, very skillful. He likes to cut inside onto his, he looks very feet-wise ambidextrous. He's very comfortable on both his left and right. Likes to cut inside, take a shot. He scored 1 or 2 absolute beauties for Salt Lake. Top American prospect. If you look at his FB ref stats, reminds me of Allison a little bit, and seems like he plays in a similar position to Allison. Both generally right wingers, really. It looks like Gozo can play on the left as well. Like I say, if you watch the videos of him, very, very comfortable on both feet. That's really striking, actually. But if you look at this, the reason he reminds me of Allison is his defensive work. Tackles, compared to other attacking midfielders and wingers, is in the top 2%. Interceptions, top 22%. Blocks, top 3%. So that matches up with what that scouting said, didn't it? That he's very good at cutting on passing lanes and he presses hard. And that is something that Unai Emery will always appreciate. Because if you've got a great work ethic and you're intelligent enough, because I think Allison has very similar numbers as well with his sort of defensive attributes as well. And, sometimes, when you think of those statistics as a winger, does it come from pressing high or does it come from coming deep and doing your defensive work by tracking back? Either way, it suggests a player who works really hard, pays close attention to what the coach says, and is able to match up their attacking attributes with their defensive attributes, doing the dirty work with it. And that, I think, for young players is a massive attribute and something that clearly has caught the eye of the Villa department, because the journalist who reported this is very, very credible. So you have to think that Villa are interested. You look at his progressive carries as well. Top 30 successful take-ons, top 20%. Progressive passes received as well. It takes on about 8 in over 90 minutes. So again, he's a player who often shows himself, is willing to do work attacking-wise, be quite ambitious. Pass numbers, I'd sort of ignore that. It's not really what I think about with wingers. If he was a central midfielder, I'd be a bit more concerned about his low passing percentages. But the fact he's a winger, it's more a case of what's his defensive attributes, and what can he do, sort of, defensively as well, and what's his take on numbers like as well. So yes. I can see it's just come up here that the stream on Facebook has gone down. Apologies for those watching on Facebook. But yes, I will continue on here. So that's just to show his raw numbers again on Transfer Market, just to see it, in black and white. 27, 4 goals, 3 assists. Again, you go back to Roberto Alabe. this is the approach, isn't it? This is what he likes, what he's done in the past. And again, were Villa to sign a couple of hot young prospects, very exciting stuff. Madjo is the one that, it's got the here we go, so you have to assume it's happening. All being well with the medical. And like I say, his back to goal style is exactly what I've been sort of screaming out for at Villa for a while. Just somebody who's physical, can hold it up and drag other players into the game. A little bit differently to how Ollie Watkins does it, is how I would say. So, yeah, if Madjo can come in and he's, able to just train with the first team for a few months, or maybe stays at Mets or wherever, and then Koscielny can do in the summer, great. Maybe he comes in like Duran and is just ready to put in the first team straight away, because Unai Emery does believe in these players. He does give them a chance. Like he's given chances to a lot of the younger players. He's given up on a few quite quickly, but Duran he persisted with, and Madjo will find out how he gets on. So yeah, exciting stuff, really. Now, I think I'll just quickly talk about Crystal Palace as well, because I wasn't able to do an instant reaction to that. Oh, and just to add as well, I am going to be doing an interview about Madjo, so that will be an interview special later that I'll bring out in a little bit. Now, firstly, before I start talking about Crystal Palace, please do like, please do subscribe, please click that subscribe button. Really helps us. But I've written down the names of the people I met last night. At the Selhurst Park game, because quite a lot of people. Ross from Cannock, great to meet you, mate. And Ray, Chris, and Harry as well. Ray, you said some really nice things to me. Thank you so much. That was great to hear. You said I'm on proper villain. I really appreciate that. Right, Chris and Harry, really nice to meet you as too. Simon and Matt, again, what an incredibly kind thing you said to me there at Selhurst Park. That was awesome. And also David and Albert as well, who I met on the bus back, and turns out we live extremely close to each other, and also have the same dealings with United and Arsenal fans locally. So that was that was brilliant. So amazing to meet everybody. Fantastic community in it, the Villa one. Anton and Jordan as well, of course, meeting you, and the London Lions generally. It's fantastic in it. What a community we are. But the Palace game, I'll bring up the team. So again, Glasner just has a way of playing Villa that we don't seem to like at all. It's isolate Yuri Tielemans, don't let him play the game, force Villa wide, and unfortunately, we don't really have the wide players to do loads and loads of damage. I think Glasner approached it like a European game. So, they've been on a big losing streak. They're knackered because they've played loads of games. So I think the thing he would have said to his players is, don't physically exert yourself too much in the first half. Be clever. Force Villa to have the ball more. Try and hit them on the break. Drag them in. And then second half, maybe we can try and exert a little bit more energy and pounce. So what they were doing a lot in the first half was it was very deep. It was bung up the middle. And don't be tempted in. So how often did you see it where Emi Martinez would come forward, he'd stand on the ball? Quite often, players, from opposing teams will go in, they'll be baited into the press, gaps open up, and then Villa play through you. Palace just didn't allow that to happen. And I think Mateta would have been very happy to stand there looking at Emi Martinez for about 45 minutes last night, had that been something that we would have been forced into. So I think Palace played it pretty smartly, forced Villa to try and do all the work, and just bung up the middle. Don't let them play through the middle. Force them wide into areas where they're not at their strongest, and then maybe second half go at them. And I think second half they did cause us a fair few more problems. But the way I would sum up the game, though, it was there to be won, wasn't it? We had the chances to do it. We really could have won last night. Although, I think as well, in fairness to Palace, they had their chances too. I really enjoy Selhurst Park. I think it's a really fun little stadium. I think if you're higher up in the away end, you can't see the pitch. Where I was lower down, so I did get a good view of it. And great noise from the away end as well as always. But yeah, I just watching it live, I thought, yep, Palace they just don't fall into Villa's traps. They let us have the ball. They don't get baited. They're in a really clever shape, and they have a player of the quality of Adam Wharton, who, when they get the ball and look for ways out and to counter, he's able to turn so brilliantly into empty space and pick out passes, which he did for Brennan Johnson's chance in the first half. Palace's only chance in the first half, their only really good bit of attacking play was that ball from Wharton into Brennan Johnson, and really, he probably should have scored on his debut. Villa, though, we had our chances. Ollie Watkins, one where he gets out on the left and the keeper comes out and blocks it. Fair enough. But another one where he gets an absolute age to take a shot on the left and he just dithers, takes too long, not clinical enough. That should have been 1-0, I think. Apologies if I sound bunged up. Like I said, I'm not being at my best. Apologies for that. But if we look at second half, Palace came at us more, created a lot more opportunities, and there was it was pretty much around the time when Villa made the substitutions. I looked at the two benches and thought Villa's substitutes are too strong. That is probably going to make a difference, whereas Palace just didn't really have anyone on the bench. I'm not even sure if they made a sub in the end. But they came at us. They conserved their energy smartly in the first half, came at us in the second half, created more chances. Luca Dean with an incredible block to save a goal from a Devaney shot. Brennan Johnson as well, doing well to get the ball across low, and Mateta just couldn't quite get to it. And then obviously there was that moment when the ball was bouncing around everywhere, and fortunately we managed to get it away. But Villa as well, we had our chances. Morgan Rogers, that was the game. I think that was the chance. I think the form he's in, you'd expect him to finish. Unfortunately, he deflects over and the referee doesn't give anything. I thought the referee was really poor again. Could there have been a penalty for Villa? In the stadium, it didn't look obvious the Tielemans won, but I think if Villa thought that was a penalty, we need to make more noise about it, because I didn't notice it, and you'd have to think the referee probably didn't notice it because we didn't make enough noise about it. And then the handball as well, first half, you see them given. It was from a Matikas shot, wasn't it? I could see why it wasn't given, but I think we're in a world where that could have been given as well. I think we haven't had a penalty all season. Not really sure when it's ever going to come, to be honest. I think we could have got one last night. I think that could have been a pen on Yuri Tielemans for sure. I mean, Brennan Johnson's holding him. He's just holding him. I mean, Tielemans can't move. You should go down and go for it. But yeah. And then obviously Ollie Watkins hits the post late on as well. And there was also a great ball across. It's not in the highlights from Morgan Rogers. It's just a shame no one was there to finish it. So I think we had the chances to win that. But in the end, we've got a terrible record against Crystal Palace. And we haven't really lost any ground on anyone. I mean, yes, Arsenal play tonight. Yes, they might win. But, Man City drew. Chelsea lost. United drew at Burnley. I mean, drawing at a team that are our bogey team and one that always seems to beat us, away from home, I think you just go, all right, fine, and move on. Play Everton at home, go and get the win. Tottenham next as well in the FA Cup, go and try and win that as well. Not much more to say, is there? I'll get to the comments. Black Country Villain, good to see you, mate. Chad Thomas, how's it going, Frankie? Good to see you, Chad. I'm going well, as I say, pretty ill. But I think it's just a minor. I think it's changing. It's got very cold. Put the radiators on. Dust has risen, and I have a terrible dust allergy. So anytime the dust comes, I react to it. Lee Johnson, his mother Jodie was a decent baseball player. Jodie Madjo. I don't know. I know his dad was a football player, a professional footballer. Guy, a Cameroonian, I think. So, interesting backstory. I mean, 2009 as well. Born in 2009. Jesus. I mean, that was yesterday. How is someone born in the year 2009 already moving for 12 million euros? Gee whiz. Time doesn't stand still, does it? Good Lord. He has no memory of... I mean, if you put it in context, that's the year Aston Villa relegated Newcastle from the Premier League at Villa Park with the Amsterdam banner. It's a year after we beat Ajax 2-1. in the UEFA Cup. Martin Larsson's header. Bloody hell. That's wow. Lee Johnson is bigger than my wardrobe. 6'4", the age of 16. You're a lot closer to ready for men's first team football than almost everyone else your age. And sometimes when you just are that physical specimen, you come through. Wayne Rooney, Romelu Lukaku did it at 16. Yuri Tielemans came through at 16. Players do. So, yeah, I'm excited. And I think the outlay on him probably suggests that Villa are expecting for him to be in the first team now, getting there training with him. I mean, he started 5 times in Ligue 1. Well, you could deal with that physicality. You've already had international appearances. Let's see what you got. Chad Thomas. Hendrick's agreement was when he was 16, but he didn't go for a bit. Yes, I think the deals I can think of the most for 16-year-olds are, I think, Vinicius Jr. at Real Madrid and Hendrick. I think they were like huge agreements, weren't they, when they were in Brazil? So they're probably the records, but I think Madjo's got to be right up there as one of the most expensive 16-year-olds ever. 12 million for a prospect is huge. Let's have a look at him, says Dalian. Yeah, absolutely, mate. Great to see you as well, as always. Adam Ashley Ellis. Something about the player I like. Hopefully one for the first team. Yeah, I think he will be. I think he'll be training with the first team. If he doesn't go on loan, that is, straight away, maybe that happens. But he'll be in with the first team. Too big an outlay. John Collins, good to see you, John. Is it the former Celtic player? Top player, he were. We might lose Emery. As Man United found a new manager yet. I wouldn't be worried about that. We ain't losing Emery. Emery ain't going anywhere. Too big an investment in him. And he's at the Dream Club. I talked about it the other day. He ain't going anywhere. Emery won't go there. Yeah, absolutely. John Collins, Chelsea model, but players to sell at profit. Yeah, a little bit comparable to Chelsea. Chelsea and Man City showed the way, haven't they? I mean, they always seem to be in so much profit because, partly because of how they operate financially, but also, their youth system. They always seem to buy up the best players, spend quite a lot on them, and then sell them on at, 18 million quid, 20 million quid. Some of them go for 30 million quid, and you can run through loads and loads of examples of that. Morgan Rogers is Man City. Liam Delap, City. Cole Palmer, City. They just sign up all the talents, don't they? And Villa are trying to emulate that. We've been trying to do it for a few years now. And it all adds up. I mean, some of these youth players, take like Finn Azaz. What did we sell him for? 3 million to Middlesbrough? Never appeared for us. 3 million quid, isn't it? Tim Robenham, 10 million quid he's gone to Everton. This stuff, it does add up in the end, that it's all pure profit, which, I'm not massively sure pure profit really matters as much going forward, given the fact that it's going to SCR, but still, it's suggestive of a well-run club. And where Villa are in the sort of rankings of revenue clubs, we do have to operate like this. We do have to box smart. We can't just go and buy the, look at what Man City are doing. Semenyo coming in, Gay, might be going there. They did it last January as well. We can't just go and sign players like that just yet. But the more we're in the Champions League, hopefully we'll get it again next year, the more, we'll be able to do that in future. Dalian, Nedeljkovic, I think he could become a top fullback. I thought that was as soon as I saw him. I absolutely agree. I just really, really rate him. Explosive pace, really just bombs past players, really good at getting into the final third. Good final ball as well. I think there's a real player there, and I really hope to see him at Villa again. If he doesn't come back, he'll go on to have a really good career as well. I'm sure of it. He's a starting fullback for RB Leipzig in the top 4 in the Bundesliga. I mean, he's a really good player. He has to be. Shows Emery's thinking long term. Yep. Bazumana Torre is a cracking player playing for Ivory Coast with Gesson. Oh, good. That's interesting to see. I've not seen him. That'd be an interesting one to go watch. I'll go have a look at that. Paul Welford, good to see you, mate. Hi, Frankie. Would you have him on the bench? Yes. That's Madjo, I think you're referring to. Yes, I would. Why not? Just throw him in. See what happens. It's what we did with Duran 3 years ago. I was on a pub on my own, and I think within a month of signing him from MLS, he came on against Man City and was absolutely. He looked like an absolute firecracker. Do you remember? He's hit an absolute bomb off the crossbar. Yeah, sometimes you can see it quickly. Please like, please subscribe. 5-star reviews as well always help. Spotify and all these sorts of places. Just Google Gozo. Apparently, he's the second largest, greener, and more rural island in the Maltese archipelago. Yeah, nice. Rob Hatton, I'd love to see a couple of youngsters come through for us, but the stakes are that high now. It's unlikely, fingers crossed. Yeah, most youth players never make it. Most youth players go, a lot of these youth players, though, will, like Finn Azaz is a good example. He won't make it into the Villa first team, but he will go on to have a really solid career elsewhere. And if we could just pick up 2 million, 3 million, 4 million, 5 million, 6 million, Cameron Archer, another one, 18 million we got for him. Jaden Philogene, 20 million we got for him. It all adds up. Having a good academy for a club, where we are, it's huge. And I think it's one of the best things we ever did under Christian Purslow. I've had big criticisms of Purslow. I do think it's the year we had a year where we went crazy with some of our contracts and signings when Gerrard came in. But getting the academy right was one of the best things he ever did. Great Bongo. If we really want to challenge for the league title, we need 1 or 2 players that hit the ground running like last January. Yes, that's true. And I hope to see 1 or 2 players come in and do that. Please smash the like, says Black Country Villain. Please do. Omar Marmoush is what we need. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I couldn't agree more. If Marmoush came in, I would be, look, whoever's here, I'd buy you all a pint. Bankrupt myself doing it. Buy you all a bottle of champagne. I'd be that excited about him coming in because I think he's a fantastic player. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Villa and Spurs have been linked with him. He's at AFCON at the moment with Egypt. Nassef Sawiris and Elmo having that Egyptian link, it would help. It just would, wouldn't it? Apparently, reports are saying right now that Marmoush, City are reluctant to sell him right now or to let him go. I can't see them letting him go on loan. Marmoush himself is quite reluctant to leave right now. He's not really played that much at the start of the season for them. I think Villa would be a fantastic move for him. I think it'd be a brilliant move for us. And were the money available? Were the finances available to do it? I'm not sure they are, but if they were, go get him. That's probably why I put it. Paul Wolfenden, hi Frankie. Can you explain where this stands with FFP, SCRs? Half of my mates think we need to stop wasting money on kids. It should just sign nothing but 50 million, 60 million players. Yeah, I think I've talked about it a fair bit just now. But like I say, you need an academy where we are just in the general system. We have to box smart. We can't just go and spend it the way City and Arsenal and Liverpool can. We have to be smart with it, and hopefully 1 or 2 of these players go on and become top players for us, or they go on and we sell them for decent amounts of money. Carney Chukwuemeka, another name I'm not even mentioned, 22 million to Chelsea. So, but like I say, I think PSR, it's not as much of a factor anymore. It's more SCR is going to be the thing from this summer. And to be honest, as I say, it's UEFA's SCR rules, squad cost ratio rules, 70% of revenue. That is the thing that has been hammering Villa. And it's UEFA rather than the Premier League that have made it really, really difficult for Villa. And it's UEFA who put the restrictions on us last summer as well. And quite frankly, I think 70% is really, really low. And while, yes, it protects clubs from doing a Leeds, when Leeds nearly went out of business all them years ago, it protects them from doing a Portsmouth, protects them from clubs going absolutely mental. That is good. And it also stops nation states coming in and just destroying the fabric of football entirely. Because if you could spend whatever you wanted, Newcastle would have signed all of Villa's best players because we simply don't have the finances that Newcastle have. Even though we have incredible finances with our owners, all Newcastle could do is they're owned by Saudi Arabia. The Saudi the Public Investment Fund, which apparently isn't Saudi Arabia, but is. It's they could just go. They could look at Boubacar Kamara and say, "Do you know what? We'll give 150 million for him and give him 500 grand a week, and it wouldn't matter at all to them because they could do it." And they would target Villa in the same way that Man City did. So when Man City had their takeover, their initial approach was, we need to take out the rivals now. So Villa, Everton, Spurs, and Arsenal were the 4 clubs they really hit hard. Villa and Everton really paid a price. Arsenal paid a price for it, to be honest. Yeah, I think we were the biggest. We were the club who had the biggest detriment of Man City's takeover. And so, yes, I think PSR rules have to be there, sadly. But I think 70% of revenue is too low. I think it's too low. And it ultimately, these rules, the knock-on effect of it is that it just does keep in place a certain elite. And therefore, Aston Villa have got to, in a way, bend the rules as far as they can in order to get through and break through and get on forward. But look, as well, a lot of these teams that have these revenue advantages are run by idiots. Chelsea and Man United, I mean, they run like absolute morons. Tottenham, I mean, they're just run really badly on the football side the last few years. So that's given Villa an advantage as well. So Villa are well run. We've got a great coach, an amazing coach. So hopefully, as time goes by and our revenues goes up, we can start to sign the sort of players that the Man Cities can currently sign. We'll see. Title challenge has gone now. We just need to secure top 4 as soon as we can. Relax a bit and concentrate on the last stage of the Europa. I think exactly that. I think most Villa fans as well never thought we were in a title race. Unai Emery would privately think we were. But I think realistically, if Villa got top 3 this season, we'd be absolutely delighted. And we should aim to try and keep the pace with Arsenal as long as we can. Arsenal ultimately just have that depth of squad, don't they? With their PSR advantages. That, in fairness, due to their stadium and also due to the fact they've got Champions League for a number of years. And an Arsenal fan friend of mine did say to me, Villa remind him of Arsenal 4 years ago, where they were really starting to come good and started to get Champions League regularly. And that then led on to where they are now. And if Villa can get Champions League regularly, what it means is we can build out our squads and therefore compete longer in title challenges than we probably can with our squad as it is right now. But yeah, keep on going as long as we can, see what happens. And who knows? Good to see you, John. Always great to see you. You say really nice things about the podcast. Thank you so much. You're a fantastic person, really are. Rugby, we need to buy young players also for registration reasons. Homegrown, club grown is a consistent issue. That is very true. I haven't mentioned that. Yes, thank you very much. I promise you forwards with English nationality, 12 million isn't shocking at all. No, not at all. And yeah, as he's played for the Luxembourg national team, but he was born in Enfield, so he qualifies for England. Whether he would be a homegrown player, I don't know. Those rules are something I find myself sometimes just tearing my hair out about because I don't 100% know. And as a podcaster doing this all the time, I probably should know it, but no, I don't. But yes, because he's English, I guess he would count as homegrown if we put him into the academy. We'll see. Lee Johnson, I'll throw the kids in for Spurs. Yeah, we ain't going to put out our first 11, but we're going to put out a team that's probably strong enough to compete with Spurs. Spurs aren't great at home. They're there to be beat. They're on a low ebb. They'll put out a stronger team, I think, just because the season's getting away from them. And they really, really want to, they want to have a good cup run, don't they? I think Spurs. Villa obviously do as well. But I have a feeling Villa's main target this season is top 3, Champions League, and winning the Europa League. I think that's probably our aim. But we'll see. I mean, look, we've beaten Spurs already this season. And I think we'll put out a strong enough team anyway that can do the business. John, I want the Europa League. Same here. If I could pick a trophy, that's the one I go for, I think. FA Cup would be massive, though, wouldn't it? What an amazing trophy that would be to win. Richard Edwards, mate, great to see you. Top man. Happy New Year, Frankie. Let's hope it's even better than last year. Keep up the great work you do. Up the mighty Villa. Yes, great to see you as well. Yeah, let's hope it keeps on going. All signs are that it is. You can only have SCR if you do something about the corrupt clubs. Yeah, it's not great, is it, that the SCR rules as they are and PSR, it does lock in on a certain elite. It does. UEFA are going to have to. Well, what they should do is adjust the rules in some way that makes it encourages teams to be willing to compete in some way, because if we're all at the same rules as where Real Madrid and Bayern Munich are, it's borderline impossible for teams to break through without bending the rules somehow. It is. It's very, very difficult. Villa's chance for FA Cup was last year. I tend to agree. Rian, good to see you, dude. What happened to Zepicano Redmond? Yeah, player we signed on a free 17 striker from Feyenoord. Putting him on loan to Huddersfield. I think he scored. Did he score early on for them? I think he got an injury. I think he only played 2 or 3 times and then he got an injury with his ankle and hasn't been seen since. So I'm not sure if he's been recalled. I know Louis Barry's been recalled from Sheffield United a couple of days ago. Funny one, Louis Barry. It feels like he's gone into situations where it's all worked perfectly. Stockport and Swindon. And he's gone into clubs where it's all just a mess behind the scenes and he's been caught up in that. He needs a championship club where it's all just run properly and it just clicks for him. He went to Hull last year, got an injury straight away. Sheffield United, useless Ruben Sellers. It was Ruben Sellers was manager, really. They sat in with him 4 games, and in comes Chris Wilder, who just is a different profile of manager to what Louis Barry thought he was going into. So yeah, look, I think that's the last of the comments. So I'll wrap it up there. We've got nearly 50 minutes. Brian Madjo, very exciting. And like I say, I'll have an interview later with somebody who knows a fair bit about him and put that out as a special, probably tomorrow. But Madjo, Zavier Gozo as well, Real Salt Lake. Exciting times at Villa. Exciting that we're able to go and get these types of players or be linked to these types of players as well. And like I say, just what I've seen of him, the description of him, the fact he's played for the Mets first team, the fact he's already got international caps at the age of 16, the fact that Roberto Alabi has a great track record of picking up players like this. All of it excites me. And he is the exact profile of a striker that Villa have been crying out for quite a while. So, yeah, excited. Let's see what happens. Let's wish him luck. Let's see what he does. But on to Spurs and on to Everton as well in the league. Let's get those 3 points at home and let's get on in the FA Cup. But until next time, everybody, thank you so much for listening and watching. Until next time, up the mighty Villa.